Hello, everybody. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Jumblefluff, and today I am doing a new video where I draw dog breeds and cookies as a mashup. So these cookies and dogs have funny names that go together. Our first entry is a poodle and a snickerdoodle. So this dog cookie is called a snicker poodle. I had a lot of fun coming up with this idea, and I drew a lot of kind of concept drawings in my sketchbook before giving this a go here in Clip Studio Paint. So I picked a nice reference photo of a big floofy poodle and got started picking colors out of a reference photo of a snickerdoodle cookie. Snickerdoodles are like buttery cookies that are rolled in cinnamon and sugar. So they have lots of like warm yellowy colors from like butter and eggs, and lots of cookies are kind of yellowy anyway. And then like an orangey brown cinnamon color as well. So to go for the snickerdoodle look, I went with the yellow color on the shaved parts of the poodle, and then more of the orangey cinnamon colors on the longer parts of the hair. I think poodles are really funny dogs. They're really smart, so they can do a lot of tricks and stuff. I also like the idea of a snicker poodle because it kind of sounds like one of those, like poodle mixes that they all have really silly names. Like Labradoodle is kind of like the most normal one. But then there's like all these different variations that they have now where it's like an Aussie doodle or sheepadoodle or everything's a doodle, which I personally really like because I think it sounds funny. So a snicker poodle kind of sounds like it could be the newest craze in dog breeding. So, so yeah, I had a lot of fun with this idea. So I went in and I colored everything, and I wanted to kind of get like that speckly look of being like coated in sugar and cinnamon, because it's not like a solid color. It's got a lot of different shades and hues in the sprinkling. So after I got my shadows and my basic sketch and under drawing laid down here, I went in with like a noise brush and added a lot of different like texture over the orangey color. I think actually later I went in and went back in and changed the orangey color into like a lighter color and relied more on these speckles to bring that like orangey tone in. It's kind of hard because cinnamon is kind of a weird color because it's kind of brown, but it's kind of orange. So I wanted to capture some of that, variation in color as the drawing came together. So one of the biggest things I was focused on when drawing this is the silhouette of the poodle because I think it's pretty iconic. Poodles are kind of dogs that have a lot of different hairstyles that they can do because they have really like thick hair that stands up funny. Not funny, it stands up really cool. Like it's really thick and nice hair. So I thought it would be fun to focus on this like kind of more classic poodle-y cut. And it reminds me of like an 80s haircut or something just because it's like so big and dramatic, and I just really like it. So I went in after I had added this texture, and I wanted to really emphasize the floofiness of the hair. So I added a lot of shadows and trying to add some dimension into this hair so it looks more rounded. I did this on all of the little patches of hair because they have like little leg warmers and little hip warmers and a little poofy tail too. So I went in and added some more like little details, like little thin white curly cute hairs to stick out too, so you could see it a little better. Then that was the end for the snicker poodle. So it's time to move on to the next dog cookie amalgamation. And this one is a Scotty dog plus a biscotti. So it's a biscotti dog. Biscottis are like twice baked cookies. They're Italian. A lot of people eat them with like coffee and stuff. They're kind of like a shortbread cookie. Sometimes have nuts and stuff. And a lot of times they're dipped in chocolate. So this one that I was referencing is like the shortbread flavor, and then it has like a chocolate coating, and then white chocolate drips on top. And then in the actual cookie dough, it has pistachios. So that's kind of what I was going for with this dog. I really like Scotty dogs. I think they are super cute. They have stubby little legs and big old paws. And they have a little tail that sticks straight up. It's like a carrot tail. They're terriers. So I think terriers are fun dogs with a lot of personality. So I really like Scotty dogs. I had a friend who had a Westie, which is pretty similar to Scotty dog, except for like Scotty dogs are usually black and Westies are like, I think, always white. I don't think there's other colors of Westies. So I first blocked in this dog with the like doughy cookie color, and then I went back and added a chocolate color on the front half, like the dog had been dipped in chocolate. So I went back over the line work and made it dark as well, just because the light line work doesn't work very well on the darker fill color, in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure some people can make it work because people are really good at art and really creative and amazing and stuff. So I'm sure some people can make it work. But in this case, I think the dark line art was definitely the right choice. So I wanted to emulate this like crusty texture that biscottis get around the edge of the cookie because they are baked a second time. So that's why I went in with this like orangey color and thickened up the line work, and I added some texture around the line work just to kind of give it more of like a filled look. And then I sectioned out some chunks to turn green for pistachios. The pistachios, I just used a mix of colors, mostly color picked from the picture, and just kind of blurred it together. So it's got a little bit of hue variation in it. And then finally, I went in and added texture onto the cookie part using just like a big chalky brush, just to give it more like a rougher feeling so it's not too smooth, so you can see a little bit of highlights and a little bit of shadowy parts, just so it looks a little more crumbly. Then I had a lot of fun going in on the chocolatey parts of the dog and adding a lot more darker shadowy renderings just to kind of make it look more like shiny and smooth and chocolatey. I think the biscotti dog turned out really cute, so I hope that you guys like him. I love his little eyebrows and his big mustache. I think that terriers are really cute dogs, so I don't know. I think he turned out cute. So for his final touches, went in with this white color. It's actually kind of a little off-white color, and then I added like brighter white highlights to give it more three-dimensional feeling. And I added this around his shoulders and his back, onto all the chocolatey parts. And I also added it onto his eyebrows and mustache as well. So I really like that. And I like, I drew his little eye highlights as like stars and stuff. So I think it turned out really cute. I'm a really big fan of drawing these cookie dog mashup things. You know, a few weeks ago I drew some dog breads, which were, you know, dog breeds that were also types of loaves of bread. So that was a lot of fun too. So this third drawing that I'm getting started on now is a whippet and a whoopie pie. So whoopie pies are like kind of cakey cookies that are stacked into a sandwich, and then they have like a creamy, soft filling, kind of like an Oreo, but like really soft. And whippets are really cute dogs that are really fast. They're related to greyhounds. but they're a lot smaller. They're somewhere kind of between like a regular greyhound and an Italian greyhound, you know? I'm not sure exactly how big they are, but I think they're somewhere around like 30 to 40 pounds. I'm not 100% sure on that. But they're kind of interesting shaped dogs, like all the greyhound type of dogs where they have like really thick chest and then a really skinny waist. So it's kind of interesting trying to get the proportions right for this dog because they have really long legs because they can run real fast. They have like a really thick neck and a long face and these ears that are super cute and stick out up and out. So I really like drawing whippets and greyhounds. I think that greyhounds would be a really fun kind of dog to have because they talk about how they're like big couch potatoes. Even though they're like really fast, they also love to just like lay around and do nothing. And you know, that's the kind of life I aspire for, so I can relate. But so for the whippets outside, I wanted to add kind of like a crackly cookie texture, you know, like when the top of a cookie bakes and it kind of gets these cracks and little splits in it. So that's what these little lines on the side are, and then I go in with a light color and add some highlights on the little cracks so it looks like it's catching the light. For the middle of the cookie, I added this white fluffy filling. I have two types of sandwich cookies that I do for the video, so this one I split across like the center up and down. And the other kind of sandwich cookie, I'll do side to side. So I wanted to add a little variation from that. So that is what I added the split down the middle. I wanted to add more of that cookie texture, so I added like a big brush and some shadows just to add some more dimension. Whippets have a pretty long tail, so I definitely wanted to make sure that I included its tail in the picture. It is a little hard to see just because I was drawing on a white background and I made the fluffy filling a white color. As I finished up the photos later, I added a blue background, so I think that makes the fluffy part stand out a lot better. I had a lot of fun rendering the fluffy filling parts, so I added a lot of shadowy highlights and shadowy shadows and light highlights just to kind of build it up and make it look really fluffy. So that's what I'm doing here now. I tried to emphasize that it was a cookie by using like thick line art on the opposite side, so the side that's further away from us. And I think that the whippet pie turned out pretty cute. So you can see I started working on the next dog, but unfortunately for some reason I forgot to record it in my recording software. So this is just the time lapse from Clip Studio Paint. So this one's a little bit quicker than the other one, so I'm gonna have to talk really fast. This is a schnauzer mixed with a ginger snaps cookie, so a ginger schnauzer. I don't know that I've ever actually eaten a ginger snaps cookie in my life, but they're kind of like this orangish brown color, kind of like molasses or syrup or something. So that's kind of the color that I picked, and then I added little white specks, and I did the similar like raised cookie texture that I had did for the whippet pie. So yeah, that's about all I have time for to talk about the ginger schnauzer, but I hope you guys liked it anyway. Now we're moving on to the chocolate chip cookie cocker spaniel. So a chocolate chip cocker spaniel or chocolate chip cookie spaniel. I'm not 100% sure on the right way to phrase some of these names, but you know, you get the gist there. I really enjoyed sketching out this dog. I think their face turned out so cute and like pouty, I don't know. And I think their eyes look really cute and bulgy. I don't know. Cocker Spaniels are really interesting dogs because like they're really smart. I think they're used for hunting. I think they're water dogs. They have like a really big floppy mouth that's like used to retrieve and carry like fowl and stuff. A lot of hunting dogs have what they call like soft mouth. most Cocker Spaniels don't have really long, beautiful hair like this. Most of the time they have more of a like a sporty cut, so they can actually exist more in real life, because this kind of haircut takes a lot of brushing and attention. So but I had a lot of fun drawing this really dramatic and beautiful hair with like the big poofy pompadour on top too, and the big long ears. One time I wanted to grow my dog's ears out to the ground, and I was really enjoying it, but she started eating them, so I had to cut them, because once they got long, she just started chomping on her ear hair, because I guess it tasted good because it would get in her food. So she doesn't have long ears anymore. After I added some shading, I went in with like kind of like a light brown color for the top of the cookie or dog, and then more like this toastier color on the bottom, like it had been baked. And then I did like little sections out to make chocolate chips. And these colors are color picked from the cookie reference as well. So I think that it was a lot of fun on this one, trying to add the dimension to make the legs stand out, because with the way that the hair is so long, it's hard to keep in mind where the form of the legs are. So it was really interesting trying to add that dimension and shape. So I actually did 2 layers of shadows just to try to really differentiate the forms on this dog. And yeah, that was the end for my chocolate chip cookie spaniel. And the very last dog that I picked for this video is an Alaskan Malamute mixed with a macaron. So I guess it's a Alaskan macaroot. I'm not 100% sure on that one either. Yeah, so I really enjoyed drawing this dog. I think this dog is so cute. Even just the reference photo is cute. I did draw his head too small at first there, but you saw I fixed it. Just, it's one great thing about drawing digitally is that you can just kind of drag your shapes around when you're like, okay, I know this isn't right, but I'm not sure why. You're like, oh, okay. So I can make the legs longer. I can make the torso shorter. I can make the head bigger, And, especially when you're drawing in like a really cartoony style like I do, it's nice to make the heads bigger on dogs and make them really like over the top. So, the Alaskan Malamute is a big, fluffy dog. They're from the cold weather of Alaska. They're pretty similar to Huskies, except for they're like bigger, more muscly. I think Huskies are a lot more slender, and both are used for pulling, I think. So anyway, this dog is also mixed with a macaron, which is a French cookie. It's really light and fluffy, and it's a sandwich cookie. So this is the other sandwich cookie that I worked on, and I split this one, instead of like down the center of his face, down the, I guess, side of his torso? I don't know. So he's got a top and a bottom instead of a right and left. I wanted to go with some pretty pastel colors because macarons can be pretty much any color. They're one of those cookies that's like often pastel-y and pretty and in window shops. So I went with the blue and pink colors, which I think turned out really cute. And then I did like a white, light blue color for the parts of the dog that would be white usually, and also for the center of the filling. You can also see where I did this dog's feet. I made them really round and suction cup looking. Suction cup looking like a macaron shape. Macarons have like, they call it a foot, where they have like this ridge at the bottom where they rise up off of the baking pan. So I made sure to incorporate that on the actual dog part, but that's also where the shape of the feet come from. I made sure to add a lot of fluffiness to this center section, and I think it looks really fluffy and cute. And the tail too. I'm not sure, like, logically that the tail should have been fluff. I think reasonably it should have been a cookie, but I think it looks way better as fluff. The tail is another thing that's a little hard to see with the white background, but I'll put it on a blue background here in a minute and you can see it a little bit better. So the final touches for this guy is adding in shadows and dimension here as well. I like using purpley shadows for these guys. Sometimes when I shade people, I like to use more orangey shadows just because it kind of looks nice on their skin. But with most things, I use like a purpley gray shadow color that I just use on multiply layer and blend it out where it needs blended and leave the line sharper where it needs to be sharper. So that concludes the drawing of the doggy treats. My dog cookie mashups. I hope that you enjoyed watching them, and I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble. I thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, etc. And I will see you next time. I've already started working on my next video. It's going to be another member of my dumpster pals, so I hope you're looking forward to it. I know I am. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye.